Good evening, and I sincerely apologize for my lateness tonight. My evening's, my day's activities, what the fuck am I looking at, Aleph? I recognize this image. The image on the t-shirt. From... I probably saw this on Twitter. Welcome, Sneak Cat. Welcome, anyone viewing anonymously. That, completely threw me off everything that I was going to say. I was like, oh shit, that's right, Alex sent a link. I should look at that. I mean, Jackbox. I know it. It's from TKO. Oh my, that's right! That's where I know that fucking image, because it was from the Jackbox game that I literally played online with you and a number of other wonderful folks. Oh my god. Is that, I cannot tell if that's photoshopped or if someone actually... Either way, fucking cursed, man. And now I have to open up my friggin' Word document and put that in the links in the description for the YouTube video. Not the worst thing you've ever seen. You didn't do the art or the slogan, which is surprising considering everything you... I mean, yeah, I agree on that. Oh, that's right. Oh, I hate doing things in post, but I will do it for this because I totally forgot that you all are not seeing this picture with me. You know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it on screen right now if I can just get my shit together. There we go. So this is the shirt. The image itself will be linked in the video description. Isn't it something? I don't know what the fuck to say. You get weird shit all the time, so you're desensitized. Yeah, I mean, I suppose I'm a bit desensitized to it too, but still sometimes it's when I'm not expecting the weird shit. Although, it's a link from Outlive, I should be expecting weird shit, but... Hello, Odd. It's all good. I was also very late. Well, you were just a little late. I was very, very, very late today. But alas, I am here now. I have had a wild day. And it's time to chill out with some Homestuck. Oh yeah, so the reason for my lateness, I didn't actually go to Toronto Pride yesterday. I woke up and I felt like garbage, so I went today instead, and I thought I would be home in time, but obviously I was not. I know it was a pre-stream message from you, so I should double expect it to be some really fucking weird shit. That's shame on me for letting that take me off guard. Why was I not expecting that? It's 100-degree heat. Ouch. It was actually really fucking nice out in Toronto today. It was the perfect day to have the Pride Parade. It was gorgeous out. It was, warm enough for people to be, wearing their more revealing kind of, clothing and stuff, but still not, swelteringly humid. So it was, yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. So I saw the Toronto Pride Parade for the first time today. And it was it was a lot. So first of all, it took an extra hour after I got there for me to find my friends and actually make my way over to them. Because first of all, they told me the wrong fucking intersection. They told me to go to the wrong intersection. So I literally, it was so far away where they were, I had to hop back on the subway for like 2 more fucking stops. And then I get there and I get off and I'm waiting for them at this intersection. And then we end up getting on the phone and I find out I'm on the wrong side of the fucking street. So I had to do some fucking pseudo parkour bullshit, weaving my way through a bunch of underground like tunnels, doing fucking walking, hiking my ass through subway stations to get to the other side of the street and then finally go and find them. So that was an entire extra hour after I had arrived there. And then we stood and we watched the parade for a while, and we kept standing there like, when is this over? You know when it was over? That thing was 4.5 fucking hours long, okay? We gave up on trying to see the end of it. Like, we just left and went to sit somewhere else, and then we went and had dinner, and it ended in the middle of us having dinner. But it was 4.5 fucking hours long. I mean, like, I know it's one of the biggest, but, like, god damn. It was, like, I was not expecting that. Equivalent exchange. Oh, god. You know what? Yeah. Equivalent exchange. Yeah. No, I would honestly... if it was just arriving late from like a family thing, I would probably have enough energy to go another like regular 2-hour stream. But like, it was a long fucking day. It was a very long day and a very long parade. Holy shit. So, you know, I came, I saw, I left. I'm probably not going to go see the Toronto Pride Parade ever again because it was just kind of... It was big, it was long, it was loud, I was standing a lot. Yeah, it's really more worth it just to hang out with, an occasion to hang out with friends. That's kind of it. But hanging out with friends was very nice. It was very, very nice. Seacat, I'm very sorry that you were bullied by local fauna. And, oh, you're 3 birds that would swoop at her. Oh my god. Yeah, we get fucking, Canadian geese on campus at my university. But it's weird, because normally they're like, stay away from the geese, get away from them, they're so aggressive. But the geese that live on campus are so used to people being around that, like, if they're chilling on the sidewalk, like, obviously I don't deliberately, like, walk too close to them. But if I just, like, walk by them, normally people would say even getting that close is, they'll get close, they'll get territorial, but, like, they don't fucking care, because they're used to us. Sand tapeworms. Oh, that sounds very unpleasant. Oh, thank you, Honesty Cat. Yeah, it was pretty chill. It was still a pretty chill occasion, at the end of the day. My god, so there's another time, a friend of mine was like, hey, are you at Pride today? Because they live downtown and I do not. And they're just like, yeah, like, I'm here. Do you want to, like, say hi for 5 minutes or whatever if we cross paths? And I was like, yeah, sure. So we ended up being like, yeah, okay, let's meet at this intersection because we're both in this general area. Fucking half an hour later, we couldn't find each other. We were literally both at the same intersection, but neither of us could find each other. It was fucking ridiculous. Half an hour. Oh my god. It's very busy there. It's basically just like, if I have figured out that if you do not travel there with your group, get ready for a fucking adventure trying to find them. God. Yeah, Florida's like, I mean, Florida's a whole other beast in terms of the wildlife. That's probably one of the places I've heard the most strange animal stories come from. But no, I do not know about Northeast Ohio sand tapeworms, and it sounds bad. It sounds not great. Yeah, we have yeah, we're actually not bad up here. I mean, okay, we get bears sometimes. We get coyotes. Sometimes those are bad. Canada geese. We had like, I don't know, like wasps, but those aren't really special. Yeah, but like we don't even have fire ants. We've been very lucky to not get fire ants up here. I think they're starting to move further north, and I'm not looking forward to that, but we don't really get fire ants or any other kind of like, yeah, it's mosquitoes. Oh, fuck mosquitoes. Fuck mosquitoes. That's like the one thing that like I will never ever enjoy about camp. That I just really hate about camp. The fucking mosquitoes. And having to put on bug spray, and I'm gonna just like smell like chemicals. Skunks and hawks. Oh, we get occasional skunk. The country's the size of your fucking hand. Whew. Yeah. Yeah, we can. I'm trying to think, what other, like, nasty things do we get? I don't know. I can't think of anything that isn't, like, also relatively common in a lot of other areas. Like, house centipedes. I was playing video games with my brother. We finished the campaign in Overcooked. And he found, like, 2 in one night in our house. It was fucking unpleasant. Fucking unpleasant. Okay. Bug conversation aside. Streamlining this because we don't really, like, I have an hour's worth of energy, and I'm probably not going to go too far overboard on this one. Or overtime. I wanted to talk about this. I got this notification when I got home. The front and back covers for book 5 have finally been released, and they look fucking amazing, and I'm so excited. So, I don't know what you mean by roly-polies. Odd. That's bug terminology that I've heard before, but I never really understood which one it was actually referring to. But because of chat colors. Well, actually, lowest in the Hema spectrum would be myself, which is kind of ironic because this is my own stream, but I am bronze. That's what my chat color is, and that's what my little troll guy's color is. But yeah, this cover, like just the dramatic picture of Jack Moore. Look at Casey. I love Casey so much. Okay, and the back cover, they put Dave in the soup. I fucking love that scene. Look at how maniacal this goddamn Nakadile silhouette is. Oh yeah, normally I'm Aries. Like I'm Aries. I am Aries, so technically, according to the extended zodiac, I'm supposed to be rust blood. But like, I identify more with the personality description for bronze blood, so fuck that. But yeah, they put him in the fucking soup, and he's crying, and I love it so much. Okay, so the description for book 5. The game is on and time is running out. And back, and in loops, offshoots, and splinters. The time travel trolling campaign is in full bewildering effect as the players engage in sloppy shenanigans, including dark magic, various investment scams, awkward advances, cultural exchanges, a ridiculous number of irons in the fire, a weird sort of alien hate-love thing, and a legendary nap. I'm so excited for this. Yeah, so this book is supposed to be coming out in October. It was going to be released in the month of July, but they had to push it forward a little bit. So that is that. They finally released the front and back covers. And let me just copy paste this link to my document. Oop. Okay. Just take a second to blink a few times. I've had this fucking eye makeup on for like over 12 hours at this point. Should probably wash it off. But you know what? It's fine. I'll do that later. So we are here. We are at, well, this mess. Yes, I will, as soon as stream is over. I'm chilling with it for now. Are you sure you aren't? Okay, I would probably be more comfortable if I just washed it off. Okay, I will go over time a little bit to make up for the fact that I am now taking up even more stream time to wash my makeup off. I basically just, I got in the door, I dumped my stuff, I ran, I, yanked out my phone, and this was just, started messaging in the Discord, fuck! And then I set the stream up, and now I'm here. I mean, I also put on my pajamas first, because I'm comfortable. Okay. Thank you for your patience. I will be back shortly. I'll just put the break text up for now. Hello. I am back. And I see that I'm interrupting something cursed in the chat. I'm just looking at the progression of events, and I'm like, oh wow. Okay. Okay, so we have Christian Vriska. Is the chlorine reacting with the that's unpleasant. And bones need at least 1600 degrees of heat to actually burn. Interesting. Okay. The makeup is off of my face, and it does feel a lot better. I feel a bit more refreshed to do stream now that my eyes are not fucking crusting over with mascara. I also put too much eyeliner on today, which was a fucking accident because my goddamn eyeliner pen is a piece of fucking shit. It's one of those brush tip ones, but it's not from Sephora or whatever. It's the NYX one, the NYX Epic Ink Liner, and it's got this habit of it will just, the tip of it will just pool with ink, and then the moment I touch it to my eye, I get these thick lines because there's too much fucking ink. And it's just it's very annoying because I fucking refuse to spend that much money on eyeliner because I don't wear makeup every day. So, drugstore it is. But Aleph, why do you say these things? Yeah, that's the thing. NYX is usually a pretty good makeup brand. Like, basically, like, most of my eyeshadows are from NYX. Although I have found their eyeshadows, too, are kind of, like, hit and miss. They tend to fade more quickly and take a lot more packing on to build up. Because, like, I do have a couple of, like, schmancy palettes that I, like, you know, put the money out for because they're very nice. But, I'm trying home just like this. But, yeah, they tend to be trickier to, like, blend properly. But, like, you know what? It's drugstore makeup. So I'm just gonna go with it. Also because they have a better color range. If you want to get, like, bright, colorful colors from a schmancy makeup brand, you're gonna be paying out your fucking ass because they just, like, don't really make palettes like that. And NYX makes a whole bunch of schmancy colors. And I like the schmancy colors. Okay. I am back. I am clean. We are on chapter 6 of Candy with Jake and Jane. Oh dear, the beginning of the end. Okay. 6. No one is answering the door to Jake's mansion, so Jane lets herself in. There is almost no crime on Earthsea, so almost no one locks their door. In fact, most doors do not have locks, which has been terribly unfair to the struggling locksmith industry. Once, at John's 18th birthday, Dave Strider engaged Jane in a shockingly aggressive debate about the economy in which he accused her of supporting neoliberal corporate welfare for pointing out this exact problem, which was, well, such a baffling incident that Jane is still thinking about it at absolutely random intervals 5 years later. She has an honorary business degree from almost every university on the planet. Dave hasn't even finished middle school. What does he know about the effective and ethical rigors of corporate bailouts? So, I mean, like, you didn't finish middle school either, Jane. I mean, okay, no, wait a second. No, they entered the game a little bit later. You may have finished middle school, but you didn't finish high school. So get off your fucking haunches, your fucking superiority haunches. Also, that's it's really fucking rude to use that as an insult. 30 fucking minutes before we actually got to the reading, I know. I will go a little over time. I know I said I'm very tired, but I will try and do maybe like one extra chapter past time today. Woke 18-year-old Dave versus neoliberal 18-year-old Jane. Yeah, like that's a doozy. Well, Jane thinks with a heavy sigh, now that she's not running for president, it doesn't really matter, does it? Jake? Jane feels rather like a princess in an animated film with the way her voice echoes up 3 flights of circular staircase. The mansion is dark and cramped. Tall, narrow halls, Gothic arches, and rooms stuffed in all corners with kitschy junk. Jake has a taste for velvet paintings and faux antique candelabras, which mesh less than harmoniously with the backdrop of his paisley wallpaper. Blue light filters in from the stained glass windows on the top floor of the foyer, where depictions of cerulean sirens lounge against surprisingly tasteful modernist backdrops. Jane calls his name again, lifting her skirt so that she can climb the stairs one step at a time. From the second floor, she hears a sudden and awful noise. Boots scrabbling against wood, glass shattering, hard objects hitting the wall, and the unmistakable roar of a rifle firing. She sprints the rest of the staircase and runs down the hall, clack, 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 in her expensive, but understated, kitten heels. Jane's clothing is described like an American Psycho character. An interesting observation. I have not seen that movie before. Jake, where are you? The big oak door at the end of the hallway swings open, spilling orange lamplight into the darkness. Jake steps out, looking ruffled but handsome, in corduroy shorts and a dress shirt buttoned up to mid-sternum. There is a smudge of gunpowder on his cheek. His whole face lights up when he sees Jane. "Oh, Jane, how unexpected! Are you all right?" "What? Of course, why wouldn't I be? I heard a horrible noise. What was all that racket?" "Oh, this?" Jake grins and holds up his rifle, which is still smoking from the muzzle. "Just a little morning target practice." That's the theme for Jane in this whole thing, American Psycho. God damn it, see, now I have to see that movie. Jake deserved so much better than what he got in just the epilogues as a whole. Like, they both treat him like garbage. A better epilogue in the hands of Dream Daddy. That's true. We're giving Jake the epilogue that he fucking deserved, where he's a single dad getting to date other single dads, none of whom are going to try and control his fucking thoughts. And also, in this particular alternate universe, he's actually a good parent. Anyway. He kicks the door all the way open behind him to show what's up. A circular sitting room festooned with Christmas lights and paper targets, all of which look as if they have been hit many times with bullets. There is a BattleBot hanging out by the fireplace at the back, holding an armful of bottles and surrounded by a sea of broken glass. "You do this inside the house?" He looks at her like she's the stupid one. "Well, of course, Jane. Where else would I do it? Bringing this operation outside would only startle the neighbors." Jane's mouth opens and then hangs there for a moment as she decides whether or not this particular conversation on household propriety is worth having. Sometimes Jake simply cannot be blamed for the foolish things he does. After all, he literally grew up in the woods. Instead, she enters the room and takes a seat in one of the ostentatiously cushioned bergère chairs, careful to step around the puddles of cracked glass. I mean, like, Jake has a point, and, like, shooting ranges are a thing. It's just that his is unorthodox, so to speak. Am I using that word correctly? Oh my god. Sorry, I'm trying to use... I have, like, a little dictionary app, and I'm trying to fucking not make typos. Yeah, no, I used that word correctly. True. That's the fucking pinpoint. There's, like... Yeah. I couldn't find the words for it before. What was so insidious about that? But, like, that's it. Thinking that community trust is bad because it puts the locksmiths out of business is bad. Yeah, like, it and, like, yeah, Jane be like, not being racist isn't good for business. Fuck. Ugh. But yeah, he's like, Jake is rich. Indoor shooting ranges exist. His may be unorthodox, but he has a good fucking point. He's not trying to startle the neighbors. He lives in... Oh, what kingdom is Jake in? Fuck. Is Jake in the human kingdom? He's not in the consort kingdom, I don't think. Definitely not in Troll or Carapace. The animal dudes? Consorts? Yeah, that sounds a bit correct. Yeah. Yeah, so, like, can you fucking imagine the panic of Jake doing fucking morning target practice, firing guns in the fucking consort kingdom? They would fucking spontaneously combust. Like, from what we get, from the description we get from John, the consort kingdom is very much like basically just sprawling suburbs, but it's consorts. Yeah, oh, can you imagine Jake doing fucking target practice outside? See, he's like, this is smart. This is good thinking. They would shit themselves into space. Yeah, like, it would be a very bad idea. He's being very considerate by not shooting a fucking gun outside in the early morning. Anyway. I must ask, Jane. It seems that you are rather frazzled. Are you sure you aren't the one who's not all right? Jane rests her temple in her palm. Jake grabs another of his ridiculous fake Victorian chairs by the back and swivels it around so that he's sitting across from her. Have you talked to Dirk lately? Not exactly. I would say that I have been talked to by Dirk, but the communique has certainly not been two-sided. Consorts LARPing suburban America? I mean, I guess that is basically it, right? Because the way their economy works, they don't really have to mimic suburban America. But yeah, they just are. I mean, we don't really get too detailed of a look at how their kingdoms work while they are on the kids' planets. I mean, so we know that the economy on Dave's planet must have worked similarly to American capitalism because of the stock market. We know shit fuck about the iguanas on Jade's planet and shit fuck about the turtles on Rose's planet, and we know that the salamanders on John's planet they had their whole, like, parcel pixis thing. They believed in the parcel pixis and all that stuff. John and Shane's fault, fucking suburb kid. She said as a suburb kid. I know, me too. I'm just like, fucking hell. In the meantime, I'm like sitting in my parents' suburban house right now. But yeah, it'd be interesting to hear kind of like, or to, I guess, create, you know, because they didn't describe it much other than the introduction from John in the prologue, how Consort Kingdom really works on Earthsea. Because he only described salamanders. So we don't know what's up with the other consorts. And I think it would be fun to make up their own little societies and take pieces of how they would have lived on their planets in Spurb and create that kind of mythos of how that would transfer over to Earthsea as well. Ah, yes. It seems we're in the same boat, then. I haven't heard from him. I stopped by his workshop, but it was locked. If he was in there, he wouldn't come out. Dirk was the one person on Earthsea who took the state of the locksmith industry with the seriousness it deserved. Jake scoffs and flops a hand. Both actions are dismissive. I don't see what all the ruckus is. Our good chum Dirk fancies himself a dark and tortured soul. Cutting us off is not entirely out of his wheelhouse. Yes, but not like this. It's been years since he's done a full blackout on us. I'm terribly worried. You worry far too much, Jane. Life has become so peaceable on this new planet of ours that I suppose Dirk is merely tired of this idyllic life. It has either driven him permanently or temporarily insane. Jake, what the fuck? That's my theory, at least. Maybe it's Tommy rot, but I have faith that Dirk will be back. After all, where's he going to go? Oh, God. Famous last fucking words. Jake. You seem rather cavalier about this. Like, even more cavalier than you usually are. It's 'cause Dirk's not messing with his fucking thoughts. Jake laughs, all uneven, and runs a hand through his attractively tousled hair. I must admit I am rather half-rats at the moment. You're what? Haha, I'm sorry. That was a pretty obtuse way of putting it, wasn't it? What I mean to say is I've been powdering my hair quite a bit today. It's like me sitting here in tears. Jake, what the fuck does that mean? That's not helpful. That's even more confusing. God damn it. He makes a motion like knocking back a bottle. Jane side-eyes the idling battlebot, flush with empty wine bottles, and then side-eyes Jake. First thing in the morning? Well, I needed the bottles for my target practice, Jane, and I couldn't just pour the wine down the drain. That'd be a waste. But now you're using a gun under the influence. It's a bad concept. So I suppose half rats and powdering my hair are supposed to be euphemisms for drinking? Jane frowns and leans forward on her knees so that she can examine Jake more closely. She sees it now, the unspecifically precise movement that comes from overcorrecting drunken body language, the unfocus of the eyes. That was a very detailed thesis he had on Dirk's potential psychology, almost like he'd been giving it a good think. She knew that Jake and Dirk were not officially together, and had not been for some time, but their lives were still inexorably entwined on basically every level for some reason she did not understand. One might even say codependently. No matter what he said, this has to be affecting him as well. Jane lets out a fluttering breath. You know what, Jake? You're right. It really would be a waste. Using a gun under the influence is a great weekend activity. Absolutely. She pushes out of the chair and goes to retrieve one of the unopened wine bottles sitting over the fireplace. They're all screw-top because Jake isn't that classy. In fact, he isn't classy at all. His veneer of classiness is about as authentic as an off-brand Halloween mask. Jane has no idea why she can't get him out of her system, even after all these years. She braces herself on the mantel and knocks her head back, taking a long, uninterrupted swig right from the bottle. I mean, this whole thing about the veneer of classiness, it comes off as a little harsh, but that's because his idea of classiness comes from just fucking Hollywood movies. And that's, he's trying to imitate Hollywood movies, so it comes off as, like, inauthentic or whatever. Jeepers, Jane, slow down. Jane keeps gulping. She drinks until she can't stand it, then breaks off, shaking her head and letting out an ungraceful hiss. Golly, that is cheap Merlot. Her vision is already swimming. Spilling a bit of wine on herself, she spins around to stare at the silent BattleBot. It's got its hand out, waiting for her to hand over the bottle. Could you leave us alone, please? The BattleBot tips its head at her with a click whir and then looks at Jake, who, traitorously, offers exactly 0 backup. Dejectedly, the bot shuffles its way out of the room, but not before dropping every single one of the bottles it was holding so that they make as much noise as possible when they hit the floor. It slams the door behind it. Ah, yes, Jane thinks. Scorched earth policy. That robot was indeed programmed by Dirk Strider. Jake is staring at Jane wide-eyed behind his spectacles. Jane, I must ask again. Are you quite all right? Actually, no, I am quite not. I will say, you really seem like you've got the morbs. She staggers back to her seat and takes another swig of disgusting wine. I cancelled my presidential bid. What? I was under the impression that you were awfully chuffed about that. I was so incredibly chuffed about it, Jake, but Dirk called me just before his disappearance and told me to cancel everything. And so... Jane puts her face in her hand miserably. I cancelled everything. Why, Jane, do you really need Dirk to run for president? I know that he has set himself up as your plenipotentiary, but it seems to me that you have everything you need to win the day without him. That robot is a mood. Honestly, yeah. Jake just made the worst decision of his life. Oh. Yeah, this whole thing, like, just knowing where all of this goes is, like, it just makes me want to grit my fucking teeth, because it's so... It's just fucking painful knowing that this is the event that begins so many awful things. I mean, like, Jake is just trying to be encouraging here, right? Like, you don't need him to run for president. You could do it all on your own. You're fantastic. But, yeah, there's much more to discuss of this during later chapters. Jane looks up at Jake from between her fingers and under her bangs. Well, yes, I suppose I could run a successful presidential campaign on my own merits, especially since Dirk and I developed most of our strategy together. But now that I've pulled out, I can't just go back and tell them I've changed my mind. That would be so embarrassing. It would make me look wishy-washy. I can see the headlines now, calling me a terminal flip-flopper. Also, somehow it just doesn't seem right without Dirk. Meat context. Makes me... Fuck Dirk. Anyway. Jake pries the wine bottle from her hand gently. He takes a drink from it. Less gently. Dirk has that manner about him, does he not? A way about him that makes you feel like whatever you do, as long as it does not involve him, it doesn't count for dick. He sounds a little... bitter? Jane blinks at him. I hadn't thought about it that way. But yes, ever since I talked to him, I have felt... strange. Her whole body is numb and floaty. Sure, she chugged the wine, but it's strange to have gotten drunk so fast, isn't it? Especially since she spends several nights a month drinking much harder and fancier drinks at investor dinners. Jake passes the bottle back, and she takes another drink. Strange how? Strange like you just explained, like nothing I do matters. I should be more upset that I've spoiled my chance at running for president, but for some reason I find myself not really caring. And that's what I'm actually so upset about. The fact that I don't care. Instead... When did Jake scoot his chair closer? They're sitting packed so tight now that his bare knees are brushing hers. The air between them is warm and wine-soaked. Jane takes another serious look at him, at his elegant jawline, his dark eyelashes, his handsome nose. It really is unfair that he's so good-looking while being so Jake. But this is nice, she thinks. When was the last time they talked? Really talked? It's been such a long time that she's almost surprised how good he's being to her right now, considering that she walked in on him in peak English disaster mode. Was it always this easy to talk to him? Maybe because of the wine, and maybe just because she wants to. Jane reaches out and sets a hand on his thigh. She leans in closer until she can feel his breath on her face. Oh, this is mortifying to admit, but I've been thinking that perhaps I've been doing the wrong thing with my life. Instead of all this business politicking I've been doing, what I'd really like is to settle down and raise a family. Does that sound ridiculous? Why, that doesn't sound ridiculous at all. It's just that I never heard you express such sentiments before. Except, of course, for that time when you were under mind control and had me trussed up in your lair as you pontificated villainously about using me as a breeding stud to create a blood lineage for your incumbent corporate space empire. Oh boy, wonder why that callback is being made here. Okay, that's... Yep, that is dramatic fucking irony. But yeah, this all... Let's settle down and start a family. It's just like the tip of the universe. Like, you're starting to... Because it's... We haven't gotten to, like, John and Roxy's first date yet. But it's like, things like that first date, the way that goes, and then this whole thing, Rose and Kanaya suddenly being like, we're adopting this Vriska baby right now. Roxy at Dirk's fucking funeral, like, the tip towards the trope of the perfect, the picture perfect wrapped up epilogue being that everybody gets married and has babies, the end. Oh, you still remember that? Jane, you're one of my most cherished friends. I couldn't possibly forget a single moment we spent together, no matter how sexually uncomfortable the situation may have been. Oh my god, this is more dramatic irony, but it's even worse because he wakes up the next morning and he doesn't fucking remember anything that they did. Oh boy. Jane feels herself turn red. Why did she think this would be so easy? Jake English was kind of a... Oh, what the... I hadn't read that line out loud yet, and then I was like... Oh, so I guess we're just doing this now, huh? You honestly think you hate Jane more than Dirk? I think I'm kind of like... I think I'm definitely with you on that one. I hate Candy Jane more than Meet Dirk because Candy Jane does a covert capitalist takeover of the fucking government and then oppresses trolls and starts a fucking civil war. And Dirk just kind of like... He does awful manipulative stuff, but he doesn't rope the entire fucking, like, planet into it. I feel like the scope makes a big difference. Like, there's a lot of innocent lives affected in Jane's whole thing. with her whole, like, you know, fascist planet takeover. That's true too. Meet Dirk was at least a little fun to read, especially the back and forths with Alt Calliope. But Meet Jane just fucking hurts. Jane feels herself turn red. Why did she think this would be so easy? Jake English was kind of a slut, true, but also their relationship was an emotional minefield. She slides her hand down to cup his knee, rolls her thumb into the dip of the joint there, and tries to remember the drunken advice on matters of seduction Jade gave her once when she was foolish enough to take a weekend off and go on one of her and Jake's expeditions. She can't for the life of her remember the substance of any of her lessons, though. Okay. Candy Jane is fucking heinous on every page she's in, as Dirk was in chapter 39. Right, that's the one where he convinces Kanaya to let Rose go. God, that fucking made me so angry. But yeah, but like, just, I enjoy this concept outside of the context of Jade giving Jane specifically this advice, but like Jade giving drunk advice on matters of seduction. Please, somebody write that fic. Like, maybe not specifically with her giving that advice to Jane, because ew, Jane. Ew, Candy Jane, anyway. But like, I fucking love that idea. I love that picture. Jake is still staring at her, drunk and enraptured. She ventures deeper into his personal space. Well, Jake, it doesn't always have to be that way. Putting business first, ignoring the good things in my life, and chasing profit? I'm sick of it. Are you sure? Are you really sure? 'Cause, you continue to do that this at the same time as pursuing this newfound family dream of yours. I think that I could be loving. I could be a good wife. For the kind of man who needs a good wife in his life. Like, say, an eligible bachelor with 100 empty rooms in his house and no one to help clean them. Who has been recently and mysteriously abandoned by his long-term companion, or whatever he was. Someone handsome and lonely who knows me well enough that we need not fear showing each other our less savory sides. Such as being drunk at 9 in the morning. Oh, Jake, isn't that the dream? And this again is reflecting, like, not those lines specifically, but just this whole speech. Her, just another way that she's carrying old ideas from Earth-C, from old Earth to Earth-C. All this stuff about, oh yes, a good wife to help him clean. Ugh. Jake slants close, casting a shadow over her face. His eyes are so green, and they're glittering with naked adoration for her. It's all for her. He nudges a knuckle under her chin and tips her face towards him. Jane. He's so close that Jane thinks he might kiss her. She shuts her eyes and lets his husky wine breath wash over her face. Instead of kissing her, he says, I say this sincerely as one of your oldest and dearest friends. I hope that you have luck in finding a charming and bricky bloke who will similarly impregnate you with as much swiftness as possible and be as a responsible father for your children. There is nothing for you I want more. Jane's mouth drops open. What was she expecting? But Jake doesn't register her mortification or frustration either. He just keeps smiling and gazing into her eyes, warm and drunk. Well then. With a deep sigh, Jane shoves Jake off her and stumbles back to where his horrendous-tasting wine is stored. She pops open a bottle of briny-smelling Moscato and tips it back. This embarrassing encounter isn't going to forget itself. Can't believe we have to go through the entirety of Candy. Oh boy, do we. Yeah, that is true, Aleph. Like, it really does get that vibe pretty well. Like, that replicating the experience of, like, yeah, eating too much candy and just feeling sick. It's just sickly sweet. There's just too much. Okay. I will do chapter 7, but first I need to take another short break because I need to pee. I just kind of ran straight up to my computer without thinking, hey, maybe that would be a good idea. So, oh, this album ended. Ooh, what album should we play next? There are tons of albums that we could play. Yeah, it's so nice and then eventually just fucking, ugh. Yeah, there's just those, like, little hints of it being too much at the beginning. Like, sometimes you have a piece of candy and it's just, it is too fucking sweet, but at the same time it's so good you just keep eating it. Squiddles. Fuck it, sure. Where's the Squiddle? There it is. VeggieTales! I forgot about the VeggieTales. What? Okay, so we'll start Squiddles as, like, the next album that we play through the rest of, like, streams. But what? Which VeggieTales? Let me get YouTube open. Or there was that, what was that, like, weed song? There was, what? Getting error message from YouTube. Hello? Why am I not signed in? There was an issue signing you into YouTube? Why? The rumor weed, that was it. Okay, I'll figure out the whole, like, signing into YouTube issue later. I guess I'll just play this one offline. Oh, I see there's... You Hope You Never Know? And Owen Blake was also suggesting these. Okay, which... Okay, and what was the other one? The other one, is a fucking ad for Stadia. Fuck that. Okay, they're both with the robots. You know what I am remembering? Larry the cucumber, trying to find his comb to comb his hair, and he asks, like, a bajillion people, and then the last person is like, you don't even have hair, and he's like, oh my god, I don't. But, whoops, what did I just do? Let's, oh, one of them is, like, they're both fucking, okay, let's try this one. I will find the rumor weed song for a later date, but anyway, here's this, where's my hairbrush? That one! Oh my god, my friend was fucking obsessed with that one when we were in, like, 5th grade. We just thought it was the funniest shit ever. Okay, so, I'll play this one. I'll just kind of flash that up so that people don't think this is just all of what we do. Gif of Kanaya looking at Dave and Rose in the back again. I will find that Larry the Cucumber song, and then we'll play it. Okay, I will be back in 5 minutes. Hi. I'm back. I'm just trying to get caught up on chat. The banner ad? Oh, I'm so fucking sorry. I did not. I just kind of played the video and then, like, immediately left. So I didn't remove the banner ad. I will have to double check what the banner ad was when I go back and, like, rewatch this footage. Looks like a creepypasta game. Please clean. Okay, you feel emotionally damaged. So, yeah, I'm gonna watch this, like, for sure after stream today. Figure out what the fuck all of us is. Oh yes, and this is the lovely uncurated selection that they have here of recommended videos, because I apparently am not allowed to fucking sign into YouTube right now, and I don't know why. But again, that's another thing that I will have to figure out later. Okay. Thank you, Odd, for sharing that. And I guess, by extension, thank you, Blake, for recommending those videos. I will put the other one on as, what's it called? As the end of stream video. And then we will start doing squiddles at the next weekend stream. Okay. So, this is right. This is that date that I was just referring to in that last chapter. That first date with John and Roxy, where it's kind of like, what the fuck's going on here? So I will read chapter 7, and then we will call it a night. But let's hop in. Seven. John's been spending a lot of time with Roxy lately, which also means spending a lot of time with Calliope, which is awkward, but fine. But it also means spending a lot of time with Gamzee, which is awkward and not even remotely fine. John, Roxy, and Calliope are taking a stroll through downtown New Prospect. Gamzee's here too, a couple feet behind John, doing essentially the same thing that the other three are doing, which is walking at a leisurely pace, but he's being so weird about it that you can't really call it strolling. It's more like he's holding court while somehow remaining in motion. Ever since he popped out of that fridge smelling like a sweaty foot, he's been all wise and sage-like. John considers that if he were using these two descriptors out loud, he'd make air quotes while saying them. He'd then say that Gamzee is acting almost like a priest, which is a word he would also make air quotes around due to how wildly full of shit John still believes him to be. Roxy and Calliope, however, apparently do not believe him to be full of shit, for some reason. Isn't that nice? Huh? Gamzee is leading a line of adoring Carpathians trailing behind him, telling them stupid, fake Zen stuff like, "You gotta stop to smell the seed fronds, my dudes." Excuse me. Not to be speciesist or anything, but the sight is kind of worrying because John knows all too well how susceptible Carpathians are to grassroots populism. He has it on good authority that virtually any schmuck can blunder into a crowd of them, say a few inspirational words, and incite revolutionary fervor amongst the masses. John tries his best to ignore it and walk ahead, but Roxy loops her arm through his and pulls him back. Yeah, I mean, let's not make too many generalizations. This certain circumstance happens to be a very special case and a very fucked up section of Sverb. We're here, check it. Where's here? Me and Callie's fave cafe. It's a nice place. Big oval windows, flowers on all the tables. It's got a French-ish aesthetic. John says ish because everything on Earthsea is sort of ish. Alternian-ish, Durse-ish, Japanese-ish. He'd even describe the sky as being kind of blue-ish. Sometimes it's more turquoise than anything. Too crisp and bright, like the old Earth sky as seen through a pair of tinted novelty glasses. John doesn't mean to be cynical about it, but he guesses that's just the mood he's in. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that Calliope insisted on including an unbelievably smelly clown on an otherwise perfectly pleasant stroll. Everything seeming sort of ish is like... I think that's the depression talking. That's it? We're going to a coffee shop? I got out of bed for this? God. LMAO. Oh, John, you're so funny. No, seriously, Roxy, I feel like I haven't left my house in years, and with all the stuff that's been going on, like Rose's illness, or that stuff about the political situation, is it really a good idea for us to be having picnics and going out to coffee shops? Well, it is a staple fanfic trope, is it not?
Oh, John, don't worry so much about things that you have no control over. Like I said the other day, it's time for us to leave ugly things behind us.
Yeah, for real, John, can't you just enjoy what a beautiful day it is? I know I'm enjoying it, since I get to spend it with you like I've always been wanting. You have? Yeah, duh. That's my depression. Yeah, I know, it's like, hey, I know that feeling. Whew. And this is a little, pardon? She tucks him against her side and rests her head on his shoulder. She's a bit taller than him in her nice shoes, so it's kind of awkward. It feels uncomfortable to him, and looks more so for her. But he's enjoying the attention, sort of. He missed her, the way she used to be when the two of them were close as kids. She's laying it on a little thick for his benefit right now, and while he can appreciate that, it can be difficult to rekindle a friendship after it's gone cold for a while. John wishes the rekindling period would hurry up and end already so they can just go back to shooting the shit like normal. Roxy drags him into the cafe. Calliope doesn't follow them in for reasons he can only guess at. He catches a glimpse of her through the window, a little forlorn, Gamzee at her side like a faithful dog. He can't hear what they're saying. Outside, Calliope clasps her hands and directs a wistful expression through the cafe window, foot traffic splitting lazily around her and Gamzee as they stand in the busy street. At high noon, her little body casts almost no shadow on the cobblestone road. What's shaking, sis? You look bummed all the fuck out. How can you be feeling down when we be getting all redeemed and shit up in here?
Oh, it's just... Can't you see what's happening with Roxy and John?
Gamzee stares through the window. Roxy is leaning across the table to dab at the corner of John's mouth with a napkin. John looks very confused because they aren't actually eating anything yet. Gamzee stares at this for a very long time, his mouth lolling open as he contemplates what is transpiring with the closest facsimile of wisdom he can muster. He puts one of his huge hands on Calliope's narrow shoulder, all comforting-like. Oh yeah, for sure your girl Roxy is all globes deep and that dude's a dank nook. Wow, I just lost a lot of my dignity saying that line.
Yes, and while I can't say I didn't see this coming, it's all happening so fast, I thought for sure I'd have more time with her.
Would a motherfucker like me to... Gamzee leans in so that his face is level with Calliope's. His grin shows every single one of his teeth. Miraculously, his breath smells worse than his body. Motherfucking do something about it! John has food on his face from last night. Yeah, that's the phrase. That's the one right there. But this is like... So this is like like there's something happening here. Didn't Gamzee raise the... Yes. Yes. He technically did. Unfortunately. Which, I mean, explains some of Calliope's fondness for him. It's kind of unclear as to whether or not Calliope and Caliborn specifically remember Gamzee being there when they were young. But yeah, he definitely did that. But yeah, I'm intrigued by, like, Calliope here seems to be showing some sort of higher knowledge that, like, you know, like some knowing glimpse of this timeline and how it's going to go. And it's like, this one didn't God tier, so it's definitely nothing to do with any sort of ultimate self stuff. It's not, yeah, this doesn't really ever get explained. I mean, we see them at during Candy? No, it's the end of Candy. Where they're scribbling the pictures on the wall, right? It's the Candy timeline and the Meat timeline, I believe, that she's... or that they are drawing, if I'm remembering it correctly. Yeah, like, she's like, they just have this cognizance of how things are going to happen. Knows this is the evolution of a story past its end. Okay. Or a version of it. Yeah. I mean, that's definitely... yeah. That could be true, for sure. Thinking... Oh, I just had a thought, and then it went away. Fuck. I mean, when John made that Meat Candy decision, maybe she felt it in a different way than the others, because it's kind of unclear as to whether or not Dirk is in their head specifically in Meat. Because we know that there's the whole Calliope thing where, like, he can't touch that. Trying to think of a better way to word it, but I think that's just how it's going to be right now, because it's been a long day. But yeah, like, there could, you know, that there's definitely some bullshit going on with normal Callie that we don't know the scope of. Yeah, for sure. Which, honestly, that kind of stuff is, like, I'd be interested in reading fan theories about that. I'd be very interested in that. Because it is, you know, it's not really explained. So I would be interested to know what a lot of folks think about how exactly this is working and what's causing it. Also, as a side note, this is a typo that shouldn't be capitalized. Anyway. Shrubs are already so goddamn weird, this might as well happen. I mean, there's also that. You know, Gamzee is immediately like, do you want me to murder someone? Do you want me to murder John? I'll murder John for you. Like, okay. Redeemed? Don't think so, my dude.
No! Gamzee, no, please, it's fine. I might be sad, but John has made his choice, and we must all live with the repercussions of that. I'm sure that Roxy will be very happy with him. We're all going to be very, very happy. I truly believe that.
Calliope walks away, looking somewhat less than very, very happy. Gamzee remains standing in front of the cafe, still not entirely convinced that he shouldn't motherfucking do something about it. John notices him there, just outside the window, leering at him and Roxy. His expression is serene, vacant. Calliope is nowhere to be seen. Hey, Roxy.
What's up?
Gamzee. He's staring at us, and it's kind of creeping me out. Oh, yeah, don't worry about that. He gets stuck like that sometimes. Stuck? All wonked out and shit. I think he got brain damage for being a burnout. It's so sad. Is it? The way, yeah, something with the way that Roxy says this is kind of like, I don't know, I can't put my finger on it, but it doesn't sit right. I know, poor Callie, she's sitting there like, everyone's gonna be so happy, everything's gonna be great. In the meantime, we're already seeing the trickles of, uh-oh, this isn't working. Roxy takes a sip of her tea. Her purple lipstick leaves a stain on the fine china. Yeah, John, it's totes sad. He never had a chance with the kind of life he had. What a tragic, misunderstood figure. Roxy, no. No, don't do that. I know, right? Like, she of all people would be sympathetic to having substance abuse problems. And she's like, you know, and then she uses a term like calling him a burnout. Like, I feel like that's got kind of a negative, insulting kind of connotation to it. Yeah, I think that was it. I think that was kind of what bothered me about that, is that, you know, Roxy of all people, it's of all people especially, just, you know, being like, oh, messed up because he's a burnout. Like, that's like a really bad way to say those things. I mean, fuck Gamzee, but like, still. Roxy sighs and spears the cherry atop her cheesecake with the absurdly tiny dessert fork it was served with. She pops it into her mouth with a pouty little pop, staring directly at John with her eyes half-lidded. He thinks she might be trying to be sexy, but he's a bit distracted by the sight of Gamzee lumbering into the cafe with all the grace of an aubergine Sasquatch sporting an epic erection. It's like, okay, I'm pretty sure, like, this phrase may be one of the best pieces of visual storytelling in this entire, a visual description, at least, in this entire fucking work. Like, unrelated, but stream is about to be 2 hours anyway. I know, every time I'm like, I'm just gonna do a short one tonight, guys. You know, folks are just not, you know, I'm just not doing it. It fucking happens anyway. But, yeah. I, like, fuck Gamzee, but this description of him made me laugh so much. An aubergine Sasquatch sporting an epic erection. God. He puts both hands on the back of Roxy's chair and looms over her. Without breaking eye contact with John, Roxy scoops up a spoonful of cheesecake and feeds it to him. How did I miss that the first time around? What the fuck? Subconsciously talking a lot to extend the stream. That is possible. And also, whenever I'm like, I'm gonna do a short one because I'm tired, being tired makes my attention span even worse than it already is, and it's just like my brain's fried. We're gonna go on 20 different tangents. Let's go. Also, we just have like long chapters today. Although the chapters in Candy, just generally speaking, are a lot longer than the chapters in Mead. There are very, very few of the shorter length chapters in Candy, whereas there are like a decent number of them in Mead. You know, ones that are the size, you know, the size of like at the beginning of the kids' fight with Caliborn, or when, you know, the little note from Dirk when he takes over the narrative. You know, they're shorter chapters, right? But we only really get that, like, on very, very few occasions with Candy. And so you don't have to process so much to understand what people are saying. Yeah, talking's good. Talking's chit-chatting is nice. I like the conversations that we have during these streams. Like, that's what makes them so fucking awesome, is that we have good conversations. But yeah, we are like most of the way through this chapter, and what the fuck is that? Like, I know I already pointed it out, but what the fuck is that? Keeping eye contact with John and putting a spoonful of cheesecake into Gamzee's mouth, that just, like, sends a gross chill down my spine. Like, no fucking thanks. No. Hey, Roxia. Hey, Gams, what's shaking? Callie went all running off. Ugh. Aw, I hope she blah, blah, blah. Keep inserting a word that is not there. Aw, hope she feels alright. She's motherfucking fine. She said some noise about because of what John did. We're all gonna be one happy family of fucking ninjas for motherfucking ever. What? Gamzee, you're one silly dude. TBH, pretty psyched to see you going through all this redemption shit. I bet you're gonna make a baller part of our greater ensemble if you're given the chance. John attempts to furtively gesture his disapproval with the entire situation towards Roxy by vaguely swiping his neck in a horizontal direction with his fingers, but she doesn't notice. Instead, she puts her fork down, slides out her chair, and springs to her feet with an abundance of the newfound enthusiasm he's been struggling to understand. BRB, gonna hit the ladies' room. Back in a jiff, suckers. Alright. Yeah, that is super true. Roxy, yeah, it's like she's a weird stereotype of herself, but she's not her. Like, Roxy is definitely, of all the characters in Candy, the absolute most jarring to read. Like, just on a level of, like, the level of characterization. Gamzee is the worst fucking character to read. But, Roxy is the most kind of, like, this is weird, kind of like Uncanny Valley type, feeling to how she's acting. Sis Roxy, that's cursed. Might be the most cursed thing you've said all stream, Aleph. Oh, Jane is definitely up there too as, like, really, really uncomfortable to read. But honestly, I would place Roxy above Jane, because at least the way that Jane's character is written, it's like there's still, like, that kind of, like, you can see the logical progression to this place, but Roxy just feels completely off. John and the date's repulsive third wheel watch as she scurries to the back of the establishment. The moment the door to the bathroom closes, Gamzee lumbers into a sitting position across the table from John without the slightest deviation in his heinously awkward comportment. He puts his forearms on the table in front of him, folds his hands, and gazes into John's eyes with what he has come to identify as Gamzee's signature brand of faux serenity. My fucking guy. My dude and my ninja alike. My horn dog. My horn to the motherfucking dog. Waiter, help! Oh my god. Gamzee, like, just sits in the chair and tries to start the conversation, and John is immediately, like, screaming for help. Yeah, Roxy didn't get to explore their identity and form a safe and caring relationship with Callie, and it all went downhill. Like, fuck yeah. Forgot their old personality, so they had to steal a new one from the void. He's so valid. John is so valid. This is, like, possibly one of the most relatable lines John has ever said. Is in this circumstance, Gamzee is trying to talk to you, and the immediate reaction is to call for help, because fuck this. John desperately waves to attract some service, in the hopes that it will provide a social buffer for the appalling interaction that is presently taking place. But no Carpathians seem to be close enough to heed his request. I see what's fucking up, my good Verta brother. All's about I can say is game recognized motherfucking game. You got no secrets from this motherfucker, egg boy. Sorry, it's fucking... Forgot that he calls John egg boy. Egg boy. A man stays locked in another man's hunger chunk long enough, ain't got much left to fucking hide from one another. Actually, that wasn't even my fridge. It was Jane's. I mean, we've basically got the same fridge. Shut the fuck up. I'm getting real at a motherfucker right now. I've been redeemed, yo. I said my sorries and redeemed the shit out of myself. Didn't you see? Yeah. So it's incumbent on a motherfucker to spread the redemption. You should get your redemption on too, my choicest of dudes, my dankest of dogs. See, a motherfucker knows. You got this. Oh, wow, misogynist language. You got this bitch on a rope. It's time to pull her into your tent. I can smell it on you, brother. You wasted years letting this premium hoe slip through your fingers. Less fucking conscionable than any crude stunt I pulled in my day, I must tell you. A capital motherfucking crime to be squandering Earth pussy like that. Wow. My mouth said those words. Ew. John Egbert, Elio Cotton. But, yeah, no. Yeah, folks sure do change with time. I was a very angry child. I was, like, bullied in school, though, so I was just like, I will be, like, aggressive, I guess. Yeah, it was not a good time. I was like just a touch violent. Not like getting into fistfights violent, but like, you know. You know, kids sometimes just fucking don't know how to handle their emotions and deal with it in unhealthy ways because no one is telling them how to deal with their emotions properly. I love John's. Once again, John is so fucking relatable. Gamzee says all of this stuff, uses all of this fucking misogynist language to describe Roxy, and his reaction is just, holy shit. Holy shit. But I'm all getting your back here, bro. I can be your wingman in this carnal fucking caper. I can help a little bitch like you romantically redeem his sorry ass. Let a motherfucker help a motherfucker out. Her popcorn skillet's piping hot for you already. You just need a tight and loyal boy like me to start shoveling in the corn. What the fuck is this analogy even supposed to mean? Thinking it unwise to break eye contact with this lunatic, John nods very slowly as he listens, while taking a secret snap of his ghoulish face to send to Teresi. Before John submits, he tags the photo with a message. I absolutely fucking hate this. Okay. The corn. Like, what the fuck is the corn supposed to be in this analogy? Why is she a fucking hot skillet? What does any of that mean? Like, honestly, it's worse than trying to figure out what the fuck Jake means. What a vegetable root would look like? I do believe Optimistic Duelist is writing something like that. And yes, this is the way we're finishing stream today. Yeah, so we don't need those anymore. Yeah, like I feel like a vegetable root would be somewhat more balanced. I don't know when or if I believe he's calling it the pumpkin root. I don't know when or if it will be published publicly or if it has been already, but I know that he's shared the draft with patrons. Yeah, Pumpkin Path. That's it. But yeah, that is... what's it called? My brain is fizzing out on me. It's definitely time to end stream soon. But yes, that is the thing he's doing. So we are in for a treat next weekend, starting with Chapter 8. Rose and Kanaya. I love them so much. They're so gay. They warm my heart. They warm my gay little heart. Happy Pride, everyone. Rose and Kanaya. I think, yes, Odd, I think this is Vriska time. Yeah, I think this is the one where they decide to adopt Vriska. But yes, in the meantime, on Tuesday, back to Dream Daddy. Gonna see what that game is gonna throw at us next. Alright. Okie dokie. That is today. Thanks so much for hanging out, my lovely pals. I hope you had a good old time. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, whatever you may be getting up to. Fingers crossed, I will be seeing you all at the next stream, whether you come for Dream Daddy or you just want to keep following Homestuck Epilogues. Hope I'll be seeing you around soon. That's all for tonight, and just gonna play whatever the fuck this is. Good night.